welcome back, and how's it going, everybody? My name is LC, and today we are here with another Marvel Mystic Mayhem video. In today's video, we're doing a Q&A about the comments you have left for me, revolving around what are your impressions of the game now that the game has been out for over a month now. I did ask on Facebook, in the game, in the Alliance, and on YouTube, just to ask, again, what are you guys' initial thoughts on it? And I have a few comments that I wanted to, read through and go over with you guys. So with that being said, let's go through and dive right through them. And also, if you guys do feel the need to address your comments, you can in this video as well, because I do want to know what you guys feel about it too. But before we begin though, I just want to note that I currently have a draft, so if I do sound kind of nasally, that's the reason why. Okay, so first off, we have Greenius508. Keys are very limited, either to give gems or drop the guaranteed pull from 80 to 50. I do agree that keys are limited 100%. I do think that now they're kind of starting to roll out a little bit more, because I do think Infinite Mayhem has, like, it's returning a little bit more frequently, and like there are other game modes too that kind of do bring more keys in. But like, I do agree, yeah, keys are limited. Great keys, even more, like where are they? Like, they're in the story, but that's it, they're gone now. I finished everything Memento, finished the challenges. Like, keys they're not that easy to get, which again, I know it's currency, and the main thing is kind of they want you to spend, of course, but for like the free-to-play population, is like there kind of has to be something for us to get. And I do think that they've kind of learned, because now that they're now implementing, they're now implementing like daily logins, kind of, where you get keys and highlights and things like that. So it's a step in the right direction. But yeah, keys need reform 100%. More gems, or I think gems probably like a little bit more, not a huge increase, because again, you do want to, of course, make money, right? So not a huge increase, but like definitely more gems distribution. I did, like, in the, I think it was the either first or second beta test, when I found out that it took 80 pulls to get a character. I initially said it should take 75, because like 80 felt too high. I think 75 was like a good way to just cap it off. It might feel too high to others, but to me, like 75 just seems like the cap. But like 50, I feel like if that's the case, they make the keys extra rare, so I don't think they would do 50. But yeah, I think 75 should be the case. But yeah, overall, I agree with this opinion. Next up is Galena Smoke It. Hey, I respect it. I hope I said your name correctly. The game is good. I actually like it. The only thing is that obtaining keys is a little slow. Main complaint here. Yeah, so same thing as basically earlier. Obtaining keys, not the easiest thing to do, and when you do get them, it's kind of hard to pull them all together, because if you want to do multi-summon, you can, but like it takes a while to save up for that kind of thing. So it's like you have to really pick your poison and either save or dream gems, or go with the keys. But again, getting keys is not the easy thing, right? Next up is the Azen 1400. I hope I pronounced that. Whatever. Next up is the Azen 1401. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If not, let me know. I just started playing a couple days ago. It's true, obtaining keys are very slow, as usual. They need to drop from 80 pulls to like 30 or 40, maybe even lower. I don't know about that one. I feel like if that's the case, then they would make dream gems and like keys like obsolete. Like you wouldn't even see them at all. But like, I get what you mean though. Because you only get one key when you clear a stage, so they need to figure something out, of course, because a lot of players will be tired of waiting unless you're a whale. But free to play, they'll get tired of waiting on keys, and you're not guaranteed to unlock them. Fair. Again, I do agree with this for the most part. I don't think they should lower it to 30 or to 40, because if that's the case, again, you won't see a lot of keys coming your way. That's just the reality of it, that you won't see a lot. Here's my thing, is like, I know it's the first month in the game, right? So it's like you got to give them some kind of grace, because they're still finding their footing, like how the game's economy is going to work and things like that. But like, also, it's like when you see things like this, it's like I've said like way too many times, but point still stands. When you see things like this, did it again. It kind of leaves like a sour taste in, I guess, free-to-play players' mouth, because it's like, damn it, can't get rid of it. You kind of play for so long with the limited amount of keys. Is like, how do I get ahead? You know what I mean? Or get characters that I want. And also with the pity, kind of feels like it does hinder you, because it's 80 you have to get, right? Sure, you are guaranteed to get a legendary within like what, I think 60 or 40 pulls, so there's that. But like, the guaranteed feature character or a highlight, you need 80. So it does kind of feel like it's a lot to get. I do still think that it should be 75, but hey, that's just me. Again, I don't think it'll be 30 or 40. Don't get me wrong, like I know the rate of keys, like getting them is very slow, and like with that rating, you'll probably be sure to get the character within, you know, whatever, right? But like for whales anyway, it won't take long for them to max out characters and things like that. So I don't really see them doing the bringing down the pity to 40. Again, 75, maybe 70, pushing it with 60, but like, yeah, I don't really see them bringing down the polls anyway. Lastly, on YouTube anyway, we got Yo Elder, my GOAT, love NetEase as a Marvel Rivals player. But compared to that game, this game feels like the devs aren't listening to the very loud request for more keys and a better endgame. Fair comparison, because they both are made by the same company. It does feel like Marvel Rivals is getting more love, obviously, right? More people probably play that game. But you can't forget the mobile client is huge for the most part. I think this is a very loose guess here, but I feel that more people have phones than consoles, right? So you know what I mean. You can definitely see where the love is going per se to like Marvel Rivals. Again, of course, it's probably more people on the game, but like you can do things to like spice up, because you could do collaborations with both games, right? You could say, oh, get this limited skin from Marvel Rivals or Marvel Mystic Mayhem, things like that. You can spice it up just to make it seem more appealing, you know what I mean? Again, more keys, that's the same thing as before. Like we've all been saying we need more keys, because like how could we summon, how could we get more characters and things like that without the keys or dream gems, right? Better endgame, yes we do, but like I'm also thinking, since we are a month and some change in, we don't know what the end game honestly looks like. It could be honestly anything. It could be in the format of, you know, MCOC, where they release a chapter a month or a chapter every few months, and then release like every like side quests every now and then. Or it could be like Marvel Strike Force, you know what I mean? We don't know what that entirely looks like, because the map of the game, we don't know. Like we know the plans to come, some of them, but we don't know everything, right? So it's definitely something to like keep your eyes peeled out for. But again, I do hope for like the better lack of the game. Like I do hope that, you know, the end game is like revealed in a way, like we know where it's going, like at least we think we know. Because again, for me right now, I don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell's going on. Like it could go anywhere. I don't know. But hey, moving on to the Alliance. We only have one from the Alliance right now, because I didn't want to take too long to record. This is from Grizz. Honestly, I love the game since I'm a Marvel fan. Love the character design and style. I agree. I also enjoy the gameplay as well. It is simple, but somehow needs some strategy. I just hope that they could have something to do in the long run. Most of the times after I use all my energy, there is nothing to do. And I think it is hard to get resources now, especially keys. Well, yeah. Basically the same thing as before, as everyone else said. We need more keys, but also the resources thing I do agree with, because it's like, once you reach level 70, there's nothing to do. Like you can either level up your characters if you want to. Me, I kind of stopped with that. Not that I really wanted to, but it's just like I don't really feel the need to, you know. I level up new characters, or you know, characters I might need for like Alliance, maybe, right? I'll get to that later too. But like, yeah, it just there used to be like a mode where like you just keep on doing it, you know. Like whether it requires skill or not, like it just needs to be something like that, something repetitive you can do that's not going to feel boring, or you know, too not time consuming. Well, I hope not too time consuming, but like, it needs to feel like, you know, it needs to be formatted in a way as like it doesn't feel as, you know, like a pity against your brain, and also like feels fun in a way that you don't get tired as easily, right? Because I don't like tedious stuff, me personally. If it gets too tedious, I'm gonna get like really like just fed up and not want to play it anymore. So yeah, I hope they can find a mode or create a mode that, you know, really breaks the boringness that's kind of in the game right now anyway. Okay, moving on to Facebook. So Kevin Comic Oshia says it's only been a month, that is all. Fair enough. Aiden Brooks says it's only been a month, so it's semi-excusable, but there's pretty much nothing to do. As I said earlier, the game is like if you're a new player, you might think it's, you know, there's some stuff to do, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not, you know what I mean? It's an illusion. Like once you reach past those milestones and those levels, you realize there's nothing to do. Like, it's like a dry land. The Fantastic Four event, even it's still there, which is a good thing. Like, there's events and there's things and challenges to do, but again, there's still nothing that really keeps you going back to the game. It kind of just feels like almost chore-like, if that makes sense. Next up is Tyran Von Bear. I'm not sure. I feel there isn't much to do besides leveling up to 70. Pretty bored currently. Yeah, once again, yeah, it's how everyone's been saying. We're all saying the same thing. We're all bored. It's kind of sad, but not much we can really do about that. We have to wait on the devs, of course. Again, it is a month and some change in, so it makes sense. And I'm sure, you know, the greats, quote unquote, for Marvel mobile games anyway, they've had their dry periods in the beginning for the month in, right? Like, I don't think, you know, MCOC had Alliance Quest or Alliance War a month in, right? Same with Marvel Strike Force, right? I don't remember that happening. Marvel Snap, I remember in the beginning, it was honestly fun. It was a fun take. But again, it wasn't as filled in the brim, you know. I got bored of that first month thing because like, there's nothing to do, right? So it's just the first month. We gotta let the things build, of course, but I hope that it doesn't stay this way, you know what I mean? Next up is Baljinder Minhas. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. There isn't much to do anything. Maybe they are creating something because they're taking time now. I hope they increase rewards in the future, plus new content and new ways to earn keys. If not, this game will die within a year. Yeesh, it's kind of harsh. I give it 2 if they keep it up like this. But I always question like the game will die portion, because you're right to think that, but again, when we're talking about the Marvel IP here, there's only so much ways you can honestly kill it, right? Like, if you constantly like neglect your player base and like, you know, just don't listen to them, then yeah, you can do that. But I don't think this will happen, you know? Like, I do think there is a lot of potential, and we are in 1 year. If we're in like 6 months deep and it's still like this, then we can have that conversation of this game will die, right? But I don't think it'll be the case. I just think it's in a very like identity crisis portion right now, if that makes sense, because I think it's trying to be a lot of games, but it needs to find out where it needs to be, you know what I mean? It is like a turn-based RPG to an extent, but it also needs that imp factor, because it pulls from a lot of games, a lot of Marvel games, right? So it needs to find that core mechanic of what they are, you know what I mean? Increase rewards, sure. Content, current keys, yes, I agree with all that. The keys, artifacts, things like that need to be increased. But again, since we are in the beginning, I could see why it's limited. I think what they need to do is scale the rewards. This might be a bad idea, but hear me out. You know how MCOC has certain levels of rewards, right? So like, let's say you're like a, what's it called, like this contender up to like Valiant, right? I'm not saying you're scaled to those rewards, but like there's certain modes similar to how Nightmare has, or Nightfall has, you know, like there's certain levels and like you get, you know, rewards each time, but they're all kind of the same. I think there should be a type of content that allows you to get rewards based on, I don't want to say progression, and I don't want to say skill level, but like, you know what I mean? It just allows you to get more depending on what like level you're fighting at, because everything's kind of just stale to 1, which it makes sense, because honestly, you don't want to like, you don't want to have like a whole thing where the higher players get better stuff, lower players get lower stuff, and like, you know what I mean? It's not really, it doesn't feel fair, because I know in MCOC that was a big problem. It's still, well, I don't think now it is. I think it's simmered, but like it took a while to get to that point. And I don't want people to feel like, oh, they can never reach the higher, you know what I mean? Because that might not be a great idea. But I do think in terms of content anyway, there might need to be like a skill-based content where it's like, oh, if you do this in a certain, not a certain amount of time, but like, let's just say like, I don't know how I'm going to format it, but just, you know, you got to do these certain amount of challenges and things like that, right? They should give you a good amount of rewards if you beat that hard form or that kind of content, right? It doesn't have to be like painstakingly hard, of course, but like semi-difficult, you know what I mean? Kind of like how the Super Full challenge is, right? But I feel like for that, you just mainly only need like your level 70 characters and you'll be fine, right? I feel like if this new content, you just need like, you know what I mean, you need to actually think and get the mind twisted. But if they want to do that progression based thing, I mean they could, but I don't know. I'd feel very iffy about that. I don't think they even would want that either, because I want like everyone to like be together, if that makes sense. I don't know, but it's up to them honestly. But I think they have to really like show that the rewards you're gonna get is worth getting, because if not, then you know no one's gonna want to do it. But like for right now, like the rewards they're decent, but like I don't even feel the need to push for shadow keys. Like I don't care. Or dream keys. Like they're nice, but I could barely get them for one, and number two is like I basically have every character in game, and I don't even use everybody. I use like half, you know. So that's just that. But moving on. Next up, Eugene Timothy Chua says, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Make more content and co-op. Co-op, absolutely, 100%. There needs to be a co-op. Perhaps a boss a guild can eliminate together with individual damage listed as a contribution. Make set highlights that go with the 2 artifacts as set requirements. That would be pretty interesting. Special artifacts that change character skills. Oh, excuse me. Upgrades can go past 20 plus, but can possibly break said item. This creates a need to further hunt for legendary again. That is honestly a very interesting like view of what they could add. I actually like that. All of that actually. I've been saying, like, I thought at first the alliance thing was like going to be, you know, alliances versus each other, and then it was going to be, you know, like a world boss and then like alliance like bosses, right? But they did alliance bosses first. But yeah, a guild that we can like eliminate together, you know, like that's a world contribution, you know what I mean? Kind of like how Dragon Ball Legends kind of has like, you know, we all fight with the raid and like we all do damage accumulatively, something like that. So like if we all tally up these world points, we all get a good amount of rewards. We can get like, you know, maybe alliance points, we can get dream gems, dream keys, things like that, or frames. Like it doesn't really end. Like you can do so much with that. But again, I feel like if they did so much of that within the first month of the game, we all get dried out of content. So they gotta milk it, of course, but it would be a really good idea. Make set highlights that go with 2 artifacts. I think that's not gonna come yet, but I feel like in my brain, it just something tells me that that's set to come eventually. I just don't know when. Maybe like a couple months in, maybe more. I could definitely see like highlights being like co alongside like an artifact, but I don't know for 2, because with how highlights are now, with how artifacts are now, they aren't really to like go together, if that makes sense. Because like look at the legendary ones, like they don't really go together. You can't put them together, of course, but you have to mix and match them. It's not like there's 2 artifacts that go together, you know what I mean? So I feel like there either has to be a highlight that, you know, goes with one, or if you want to make new highlights that go with an actual artifacts, then, you know, they can do that, right? Special artifacts that change characters' skills. Yeah, that could be a case. Maybe like character specific highlights, that could be a thing too. Would that work? I think it could, because if they put like the same characters but different iterations of them, that could work. You know, like they put Miles Morales in, right? And they just have a Spider-Man artifact that just works for all Spider-Man, you know? Then that could work too. I can see that happening. Upgrades can go past 20, but could possibly break said item. That could be good and bad. I wouldn't want it to shatter, for me personally. That you're taking a big risk. You're taking definitely a big risk. How? I'm trying to think, like, how would that, like I get the need, like, to hunt for legendary again, but we also need to get the legendaries, because I only got a few. I don't have a lot, right? Interesting. Maybe they might bring some, like, protection so it doesn't break, or I don't know. I generally don't know. Maybe because we do have talent rerolls, right? Maybe we can have like guaranteed talent rerolls, like the stuff we want, like it'll actually be good stuff, you know what I mean? Things like that. But yeah, we'll see. Honestly, great stuff listed here. Great stuff. This next one is from Evan Valencia. This game is quite fun with great potential. Since the game is new, I'm hoping for more content and events in the future updates. I really love the art style and uniqueness of the game. Peak. Honestly, I agree. The art style, game design, music, everything is really, really good. It's just like the stuff to do in game is just like, it's what people are kind of concerned about with the game. Next up is Patrick Core. A game with a lot of potential, but needs to upgrade to 5 hero battles. See, I kind of agree and disagree with that one, but we'll keep going. It's fun, good, quick grinds, and could use more. It would be great to customize your character talents to have different ways to play with them. Alliance needs more options for battles, but I'm sure that's something stirring up. Can't wait for the rest of the X-Men and more characters to come. I would love X-Men. Like, hey, Wolverine, hey, Jean Grey, like, it's endless. But getting to like the core, 5 hero battles. That, I feel like that was the standard at first. I thought that was what it was going to be, but it's not. It's 3. I don't know. It could happen. It could change in like the near future, but I don't know. We'll see. It's something like I don't have like a fixed standpoint on. It's fun. Use more. Yeah, it would be nice to customize your character talents. That would be interesting. Well, I guess dupes are kind of like that, but I mean, there also aren't, because like if everyone gets that same kind of dupe, then you know, something personal. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hard to actually no. Maybe they could have. You know that like level 60 passive or level 61 passive. What if there was like 2 of those and you could switch between those 2? So that way it's not like too crazy. You can just switch between which one you want. I think something like that could work. Alliance needs more options for me. Absolutely. Please, dude, my alliance needs help. Again, it's called NewAvengerZ with a Z. I need your help. Please, we need to beat this alliance boss. Granted, we won't, because the people who have joined the alliance like soon or recently, they aren't able to, you know, do the raid, unfortunately, which that's just by design. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. But hopefully next time it'll be more filled up. But yeah, you need like the whole alliance to actually beat the raid. It's crazy. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. And lastly, Luis Miguel Colin Vargas says, very boring and repetitive, already uninstalled it. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of comments like that. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great to really see that people have already installed it like a month in, you know, because if that's the case, what's going to happen the next couple of months from now, you know? It's sad to say that it is kind of getting boring, right? It's also repetitive, but again, we're only a month in, so we got to give it some grace. You got to let them breathe, you know what I mean? I'm sure they're cooking something up. I'm sure it'll be good, you know what I mean? Just got to give us some breathing room. My only thing is, like, it's going to be repetitive, right? A lot of games going to suffer through that. Is like, 'cause that's what the core of the game is. It's going to be repetitive. But if they can find that, you know, the juice for the squeeze kind of thing, right? It's like, if I'm doing this repetitive thing, I want to feel like I'm being rewarded for that repetitiveness, right? But again, as I've been saying this whole video, we're only a month in. We can't really get mad at that. Just got to continue to give them some grace, and hopefully they'll figure out how to go from there. So quite a long video. I am getting very hot and tired, so I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you all so much for watching up to this point. If you have any opinions about the game so far, let me know in the comment section below as well. I would love to know and respond to how you guys feel about the game currently. With that being said, my name is LC. Have an amazing day. God bless, and I will catch you all in the next Marvel Mystic Mayhem video.